The basket-type centrifuge is a batch-type centrifuge where the separation cycle can be set arbitrarily. At first, let's introduce the basic structure of the simplest model, the manual upper discharge centrifuge. Centrifugal filtration is performed by rotating the basket. There are a lot of filtration holes in the basket, and a special filter bag tightly fits inside the basket. The basket, as a rotor for the filtration separation, creates a centrifugal force from 300 to 1,000 Gs. For the sedimentation separation, the basket creates a centrifugal force from 800 to 1,500 Gs. Now, let's take a look at the actual separation process. Feed, startup, dehydration, break, solid recovery. In general, the centrifuge conducts the filtration separation cycle as the time chart shows. At first, the slurry is fed into the basket. Slurry feeding will be stopped when the slurry volume reaches the effective capacity level. After the slurry feeding, the centrifuge starts operation with the cover closed. The basket rotates to a specified speed for the dehydration. Let's take a look at the filtration status during the dehydration process. Through the preset filter bag, the slurry is separated by the centrifugal force. The filtrated liquids are discharged through the filtrate outlet. In general, the filtration speed is faster when the particle size of the solids are larger, and the filtration speed is lower when the particle size of the solids are smaller. The dehydrating process is completed when no more liquids are discharged. The basket stops after the dehydration process. If the volume of recovered solids is not enough, the slurry is charged additionally. After a sufficient amount of solids are recovered, the solids are discharged. If the wet solids are tight, loosen the solids by using a spatula and/or an equivalent tool and take out the solids with the whole filter bag. This is the manual upper discharge centrifuge. This type of centrifuge is named the CO model centrifuge. Let's introduce the automatic bottom discharge centrifuge. In order to achieve automation for the centrifuge, wet solids need to be discharged without any manual work. The scraping device is necessary to discharge the wet solids automatically. Startup, feed, dehydration, solid wash, dewater, break, discharge. Now, let's take a look at the automatic operation process. In the start process, the rotating speed of the basket goes up to the preset rotating speed for the slurry feeding. After the start process, the slurry is fed to the basket through the feed pipe. The separated wet solids are gradually accumulated in the basket during the filtration. For the prevention of liquids scattering, the port of the slurry feed pipe is set tangentially to the rotation direction. The special slurry feed pipe with multiple outlets can be produced to make sure that the wet solids are accumulated evenly in the basket. In addition, the level detector is equipped to avoid overflow caused by overcharge. The level detector is set approximately 15 millimeters inside from the inner diameter of the top plate, and then, once the slurry level reaches the preset position, the slurry feeding is temporarily stopped. After sufficient filtration is performed in the suspension period, the slurry feeding is restarted. This process is repeated in order to ensure the proper thickness of solids. After the feed process, the dehydration process is performed. After the dehydration process, the solid wash process is performed if necessary. In the solid wash process, the washing liquid is fed into the basket through the solid wash pipe. Same as the feed process, the solid wash process is performed with the level detector suppressing the overflow of the washing liquid. After the solid wash process, the dewater process is performed. Then, the break process is conducted after being sufficiently dewatered. Finally, let's take a look at the discharge process. Firstly, the scraper is turned into the rotating basket to scrape down the accumulated solids on the upper corner of the basket. Then, the accumulated solids are scraped off by lowering the scraper down to the bottom of the basket. As you can see, the scraped solids are automatically discharged from the solid outlet to the outside. This is the automatic bottom discharge centrifuge. The most standard centrifuge is named the DAC model centrifuge. We also offer the beltless type, the top model, where the motor is directly mounted on the top of the centrifuge. As introduced, the CO model centrifuge is simple and easy to use for small-scale production. The DAC and the top model centrifuges that are automated are suitable for large-scale production. Tanabe has a wide variety of basket-type centrifuges, from manual upper discharge centrifuges to automatic bottom discharge centrifuges, to meet the expectations of customers in a variety of industries. Experts in separation and drying, Tanabe Willtec Inc.